This isn't new per se. Really? The 2014 Ranger could also perceive invisible creatures within 30 feet, but the 2014 player's handbook language wasn't quite as streamlined or easy to understand. Yeah, because everything's going to feel really streamlined and easy at level 18. Go golly OG. I wonder what that Wizard of the Coast is up to now. I am a little sick. I'm sorry. If I sound terrible today, this is the reason why. Fortunately, I cannot control the state at which this video and message arrives to you. Today, we're going to look at those new classes that are going to come out in the new books later this year that are in these articles on D&D Beyond. Okay, yeah, about that. Hi, 2 a.m. Jacob here to explain why this video is different now. So when I initially recorded this video, I looked at Wizard and Ranger and Warlock, and then the VOD ended up being 2 hours long because I ranted forever about Ranger and also about Wizard. As you can tell by the title and the thumbnail of this video, this video is no longer about Wizard or Warlock anymore. I'm gonna come back to those on a different video because I had more thoughts I wanted to properly explain out anyways, and I didn't want this video to be like an hour long. So instead it's this long and it's just me talking about Ranger. So hopefully next week I'll be able to get to some of those other classes. Also, I apologize, for some reason my camera was stuttering throughout this entire video, so if there's bits where it looks like I'm lagging, it's not your fault or YouTube's, it's mine. That happened. So anyways, hope you enjoy the video. But these are just going to be my initial thoughts upon reading them. I did read all of the Unearthed Arcana, and I thought it was pretty okay. You know, I've been hearing some whispers across the internet, legend and myth, that maybe one of the classes that we're going to look at today is kind of bad, but I don't know, okay? I'm going to go in without any expectations. I'm going to have an open mind, and I'm going to do my best to be hopeful about all of this, because I'm easy to please. Someone just got dropped off at my door. I'm not okay, I just got terrified. A package literally just showed up at my door right now. This is not a bit. I cannot believe this. Guys, I am not doing this for a bit. It is still taped and was at my door. My Factor just showed up. Because this video is sponsored by Factor. Factor delivers delicious, ready-to-eat meals to your door, and they always taste amazing. Pick from a variety of meals like sun-dried tomato chicken or blackened salmon. And there's even vegan and keto options. I've got a Factor subscription of my own, and I've been really liking the honey mustard pork chop or herb-crusted chicken meals lately. 2 minutes in the microwave, and it honestly comes out amazing. There's also a lot of add-ons like smoothies, pressed juices, wellness shots, and breakfast. The pancakes and egg bites are perfect for the morning when I've got a lot of work to do and need to make something fast. And if you're wanting something more than just a breakfast or lunch, Factor has bundles that come with sides that can feed a few people. I've gotten these a few times and they're really good. With Factor, I don't need to settle for whatever I've got laying around. I can enjoy something delicious and fast, all while being more thoughtful about what I'm eating. Head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code FIREBALL50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and 20% off your next month of orders. That's code FIREBALL50 at factor75.com to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month of orders. Ranger, I've heard some great things about this. This art is very cool. I love this big kitty. Look at him. Is this a saber-toothed cheetah? What is this? It's like a lion and a cheetah and a tiger mixed together. That's pretty cool. Spellcasting level 1. The 2024 Ranger can prepare more spells than the 2014 Ranger could learn. For example, the 2014 Ranger learned their 6th spell at level 9, and the 2024 Ranger can prepare their 6th spell at level 5. Okay, so they get a little more spells. Cool. Spellcasting looks a little different in the 2024 Player's Handbook. All spellcasting classes prepare their spells now. Great. Love that. I actually really like that all the classes prepare their spells now. That's a good change. Although some classes can still change their spells when they level up, just like you're used to. So that's interesting. So some classes have both? That's cool. I mean, I'm always down for more versatility. I think that's great. Spellcasting classes are no longer distinguished by who prepares spells and who learns them, but rather how often a class can change their prepared spells and how many they can change at a time. For example, now the 2024 Ranger prepares its spells when they complete a long rest, just like the Druid, but can only swap out 1 spell per day. Oh, okay. all of that just to say, don't worry, everybody. You can now prepare your spells whenever you want. Some classes can do whenever they want, and some classes can do one on a long rest. I think it's great. I think the versatility is good. I think that is a good change. You can also now use a Druidic Focus, an optional class feature from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything that has been made a part of the new Ranger's spellcasting feature. So Druidic Focus, which is in Tasha's, I should just have Tasha's open because this is basically the player's handbook, but we put Tasha's into all of it. You can use a Druidic Focus as a spellcasting focus on your Ranger spells. Oh, okay. All right. Is that really what that is? Cool. The 2024 Ranger and Hunter's Mark. The 2024 Player's Handbook strengthens the Ranger class's relationship with its trademark spell, Hunter's Mark. Several of the 2024 Ranger's base class features, Relentless Hunter, Precise Hunter, and Foe Slayer, all power up your Ranger while Hunter's Mark is active. Also, the spell now deals force damage on a hit. Awesome. So we are accepting that Hunter's Mark is a necessary part of this class, and we're building around it. Favorite enemy, level 1. Favorite enemy has seen some significant changes. This feature no longer focuses on tracking and recalling information about certain creature types or learning their language, though you can learn 2 new languages with the Deft Explorer feature below. Okay, we'll read the whole thing. We'll read the whole ability. Instead, you can now cast Hunter's Mark twice per long rest without expending a spell slot, and you always have it prepared. This will make it much easier to keep up with the barbarians, fighters, and paladins and damage output without having to spend your precious spell slots to do it. So with the new spellcasting feature, you can already prepare more spells than before. With the new favorite enemy, you also prepare the Ranger trademark spells for free. You'll get more free castings of Hunter's Mark as you level up. The first thing I want to say is that this is written like they're about to break some bad news to us. It sounds like they're like, okay, before I say anything, so you don't get to do this anymore, but you can cast Hunter's Mark twice now, which is more than you could do before, and you're going to keep up with damage, and you're going to get more spells than before. So you know that you guys should know that this is better. It sounds like they're babying us. The audience not dumb. I don't hate this yet. I liked this cool ability about recalling information and tracking creatures. I know I kind of poopied all over it when I made a video about this, but it doesn't mean I hate the ability. You can keep the ability. I just don't, I'm going to be the one person. I don't know. I haven't been watching anybody else's opinion on this. I've seen opinions in the ether of the internet, and I barely go on Twitter anymore, so I just barely see anything. So I don't know if I'm the only person really saying this. I just don't like when they're taking away things that were important to the class of that character to begin with. I liked the tracking stuff for Ranger. I thought that was really cool. All right, I'll hear you out, because you're going to keep up damage with barbarians, fighters, and paladins because we're gonna have more Hunter's Marks. Keep up, like, they just need a long rest. I guess they will keep up with paladins since you only do 1 smite a turn. You're gonna get more spells. Having more spells is cool. Weapon Mastery, level 1. They get the Weapon Mastery. I think that's very great. Talked about it a lot before. The ones they have here are Battle Axe Topple. Oh, thank God they brought back the fun flavor text. Yes, Battle Axe Topple. I'm a simple guy. The only thing I like better than rolling to attack an enemy is doing it with advantage. With Topple, you can force enemies to make a Constitution saving throw or be knocked prone. This can also help protect your allies if you topple an enemy who is intending to chase after them. I just want to say, we play tested these a little bit, and while I did not use the Constitution saving throw because I forgot about it, the fact that you can always try to topple an enemy, it's very good. These weapon actions, I think, are going to change the game. A longbow, slow. Use slow to buy your party time before the second wave of enemies arrives. Aim for the leg. Wing with your longbow and reduce the target speed by 10 feet. This is written by a merchant. This is a merchant trying to sell a longbow. It's slow. A creature can only suffer from 1 speed reduction via the slow ability at a time. I like that. Slow's cool. I like that you can shoot somebody in the knee. Scimitar, nick. Not in terms of the verb nick. It's actually a noun. Nick shows up and does another attack. Nick allows you to use the light properties extra attack as a part of your attack action instead of your bonus action. Yeah, it's like he's like the mysterious stranger in Fallout. He shows up, whacks somebody, and then disappears. And that's Nick, dude. He just shows up and does that. Natural Explorer, level 1. Natural Explorer is not a feature of the 2024 Ranger. Instead, if you'd like to be an expert navigator through the woods, the Ranger now gains access to spells that will help with travel, such as Alarm, Goodberry, and Speak with Animals. At level 1, you can select Expertise and Survival with Deft Explorer at level 2. Guys, I'm all down for fixing Ranger. We all know Ranger bad. Ranger been bad for a while. Tasha's made it really good because Tasha's introduced a lot of really cool subclasses that add a lot of really cool things. Why are we taking away the navigator aspect? Yes, it's not very useful, But that doesn't mean you need to take it away. What are you talking about? The Ranger can already do these things. That you didn't add anything. You just went, here's more of the same thing, and we're going to take something away. Deft Explorer Level 2. Deft Explorer and its options from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything have been broken out into their own features for the 2024 Ranger. Now a Level 2 feature, the Ranger's Deft Explorer grants you experience in one skill plus proficiency in 2 languages. Over here, the softest twig snap during watch with expertise and perception, or help the tricksters of the group on their next scheme by picking up deception. Don't flavor text having skills. Having skills is something every class can do. It was cool when you gave it to Fighter, because it's something that Fighter doesn't really get. Because Fighter had a lot of cool abilities you gave them. You made abilities better. You kept what the Fighter had and made them have new options for them. Don't come in and be like, no, we took away the core identity of the class, which, to be fair, not very useful. Not a very good ability. The default Ranger ability, if you're playing Waterdeep Dragon Heist and you play a Ranger, you're not going to have a good time. But at least it touches the Cauldron of Everything. They made it so that it would make sense. I'm so mad. This is also vertical progression, a la H-Bomber guy in the greatest video on the internet. This is not giving us cool new abilities. This is making the numbers go up. Ooh, do you like it when the numbers go up? Fighting style, level 2. Oh, we got fighting styles. Great. Function largely is the same as before. They didn't take away the fighting styles. Thank God. They're now a type of feat. Yeah. This was in Fighter. They're basically a type of feat. If you have fighting style, then you can pick a fighting style one, which is great because we got Druidic Warrior from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. You can choose other things like the Starry Wisp spell, which we don't know what that does. Man, the spells better. I'm gonna stop being mad. I'm gonna calm down. Okay. You're no longer limited to archery, defense, dueling, and 2-weapon fighting. So now your Ranger can grab a shield and focus on protecting their allies in the front lines if they want. Good. The versatility. You can make your Ranger whatever you want. I just want to reiterate, I like this. This ability, good, but it's in Fighter, and I already talked about how much I like it. Okay, I'm going to go through these very quickly. With Beastmaster, they basically made it the same from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, except it can dodge now and can benefit from Hunter's Mark. Yeah. Fey Wanderer is pretty much unchanged. They just made it so you can cast some spells. With Gloomstalker, it looks like there's some pretty big tweaks. Instead of getting an extra attack, you just do extra damage. You can do additional effects and get eventually an extra attack when you frighten targets. And then Hunter has had an interesting change where instead of having 3 options to choose from, you get 2, but there are more of them and you can change them on short or long rest, which I really like. I love that you can do that. That makes them really adaptable, like they said. And apparently you get Hunter's Lore, which you know immunities, resistances, and vulnerabilities of creatures marked by your Hunter's Mark spell. That is an awesome ability. That is very cool. That I kind of wish was what all Rangers get at level 1. That would make them such a unique class that has a really good ability. Primeval Awareness, level 3. Primeval Awareness is not a feature of the 2024 Ranger. Primeval Awareness was at 3rd level, you can use your action and spend 1 Ranger spell slot to focus your awareness on the region around you, and you can know how many of the types of creatures are around you.
I have concluded that there are 15,004,322 spiders in the 5-mile radius.
I made fun of this ability. It's very silly. I've only had some people use it every so often. It's very niche and does not work for some types of DMing styles or campaigns. Let's see what they've changed it to. You can still gain greater awareness of the world around you by picking up expertise and perception at level 2 with Deft Explorer. You can also... Wait, no, they didn't replace it. They justify removing it. You also have more spells now and can swap them more often. So you can access magic like beast sense or locate animals and plants more easily. Okay. This is completely different from Paladin. They were like, we're gonna just make Smite worse and everybody has a horse now. It takes away a lot of the flavor. This is like that, but times 2. They're taking away flavor, albeit from abilities that did not work very well, but they're just removing it and going, you can just do the same thing by having good perception and beast sense. Guys, that's not the point! On the outside, this definitely looks like they're giving a lot more options to the ranger because they're letting you cast more spells so you can have more abilities, like warlock invocations. But rangers can already spellcast. Rangers can already do this. And with a little bit of homebrew, you can do this in 2014 Player's Handbook. So you haven't exemplified the identity of the ranger. You also haven't created more variety for the ranger here either, except for the weapon skills and the fighting styles. You've just taken away a bit of their identity and gone, figure it out. I guess the spell list is going to determine it as ranger because they've got alarm and goodberry and speak with animals. But now this class is like a really high skill ceiling. New players are going to be intimidated to look at this class because it's going to look like they don't get a whole lot. And instead they're focused around spell casting instead of having abilities that are baked into the class that give you cool stuff. Like, when a player reads Primeval Awareness, they get ideas on how they want to use it. How could I use this ability? Yes, it's silly, but the flavor of it is really interesting. That makes you think about the character. And yes, I know, the counterpoint to this is then, Jacob, why are you upset about paladins being able to cast horse all the time? If I were to compare to ranger right now, this would be like every ranger had summon fae, or every ranger had dispel magic. Having a horse as a paladin is like a very flavored thing. You have a whole summon that you have to manage. It feels like you're playing Beastmaster. Going towards my point, this is adding something to the class that new players are going to think about and be like, well, how does my paladin have a horse? I think that's great. The part of that I don't like is that it's kind of a complicated spell and ability and pigeonholes the paladin into being a horse rider. And the reason I don't feel that way about Primeval Awareness, all it does is it pigeonholes ranger characters into being a character who has good awareness of the region around them and they can locate or hunt certain types of creatures. That is in the name of the class. That is a ranger. That is what they do. Anyways, just to cap this off, I think that they've added a really high skill ceiling to ranger. I think by taking away some of its abilities, they've just neutered the class a little bit. It's focused around Hunter's Mark. It's focused around having spells. It kind of just feels like a spell sword class now. So the most of what they've done here so far is they've taken the identity of ranger and they've stripped it to instead have Hunter's Mark, and you have weapon mastery, and you have spells. And these spells are based around hunting and being good at nature, I suppose, having good berry and speak with animals. So you're just a fighter druid. You have expertise in survival, I guess. I think that's boring. I think these old ranger abilities are not good, but I much prefer that than to this. I've also just noticed something about this. When they have now taken this Deft Explorer feature from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, they've just split it up and broken it up into a bunch of different pieces and taken parts out of it. This does not seem very backwards compatible. It does not feel like you can just plug in something from an old book into this. Anyways, formerly a part of the Deft Explorer feature in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, roving has been split off into its own class feature with a slight buff and now grants an additional 10 feet of movement instead of 5, but it does require you not to wear heavy armor. It still grants the climb speed and swim speed as before. Having more movement speed. Cool. Land Stride, level 8. This is not a feature in the 2024 Ranger. Instead, Ranger gets expertise at level 9. Moving through non-magical difficult terrain costs you no extra movement. Why? Cool. You get expertise. Tireless. Level 10. With Tireless, you can use an action to grant yourself temporary hit points. I love using this feature as soon as... What is happening? I love using this feature as soon as literally anything seems off. Because you get several uses per day, and the temporary hit points don't fade until you complete a long rest, as soon as I hear a weird noise, I'm drawing my scimitar and using Tireless. Alright. This feature is nearly identical to its appearance in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. It's the same ability. Why are we acting like it's some cool new thing? It's nearly identical to Tasha's Cauldron of Everything! Except now, the number of uses is tied to your wisdom modifier, not your proficiency bonus. Oh, great! I like this tweak. The power represents your connection to primal forces, as does your spellcasting ability modifier. All right. Yeah! Tireless works off your wisdom modifier now! Whoa! Oh, now everything's connected to the primal forces instead of just my proficiency bonus. Just as in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, Tireless also allows you to reduce your exhaustion by 1 level when you take a short rest. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. Except it uses your wisdom modifier. Why is this hyped up in here? What are they what are they trying to do? Hey, look at this big new ranger. Don't worry, guys. It's the exact same thing. Guys, it's basically the same thing. We just took away those weird dumb abilities you guys didn't like the hunting and stuff. Oh, really? Then what'd you give us in response? We just more spells. Like, you could just do that with spells, right? It's giving, is this an April Fool's joke? You guys have phones, right? The Diablo mobile game. You guys have spells, right? You guys can just cast spells. It's the same thing. Hidden in plain sight. This is not a feature. And they took away hidden in plain sight. Or relentless hunter. Taking damage can no longer break your concentration on hunter's mark. If you want to focus on dealing damage, nothing so pedestrian as a fireball can stop you. You can now lose concentration on hunter's mark if you become incapacitated or die. This should not be level 13. This should be like level 6. Nature's Veil, level 14, you can turn invisible as a bonus action. All right, Nature's Veil. You draw on the powers of nature to hide yourself from view briefly. As a bonus action, you can magically become invisible along with any equipment you are wearing or carrying until the start of your next turn. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses of when you finish a long rest. Oh, sorry, I was reading the Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Sorry guys, I don't actually know if we get that. All right, Nature's Veil, level 14. It's at level 14 now. You can turn invisible as a bonus action. The invisibility lasts until the end of your next turn, granting you advantage on attack rolls you make during that time. It's the same thing. It's at level 14. Oh, thank God it uses your wisdom modifier. Oh, this is why I'm paying hundreds of dollars for a new book. Just as with Tireless, I personally like this tweak. Turning invisible is presumably an act of magic. You know what? I'm going to tweak, dude. The fact that we think this is some brand new awesome feature that we have at level 14. Vanish. It's not a thing anymore. We took it away. Precise Hunter, level 17. If a creature is marked by Hunter's Mark, you have advantage on attack rolls against them at level 17. By this level, you have 6 free castings of the Hunter's Mark spell, so if you want to focus on dealing damage, Precise Hunter will help you slay your enemies. This is really interesting because there's a lot of abilities in the game, like the very many weapon actions and spells that they're giving us to allow the ranger to get advantage, but then now none of that is going to matter anymore because at level 17, you can just get advantage all the time. We're already taking everything from Tasha's anyways, why don't we just make it the Tasha's version? Where you can just have a favorite foe. When you hit a creature with an attack roll, you can call on your mystical bond, making you feel like a ranger and a hunter and a fighter and somebody who goes out and like hunts things and is good at moving through nature and leading a party. Feral Senses, level 18. You now have blind sight out to 30 feet. Enemy mages slinging spells from behind cover or invisibility aren't safe from you any longer. This isn't new per se. Really? The 2014 Ranger could also perceive invisible creatures within 30 feet, but the 2014 Player's Handbook language wasn't quite as streamlined or easy to understand. Yeah, because everything's going to feel really streamlined and easy at level 18. Epic Boon. Boon of Dimensional Travel. Increase 1 ability score and you can teleport. That's Horizon Walker. That's the Horizon... They took away Horizon Walker from us. And they made it a level 19 boon. This is so funny. Oh boy. Level 20 ability, guys. Get ready. Hunter's Mark now deals 1d10 force damage. Oh! Between favorite enemy, giving you free castings of this spell, Relentless Hunter. Stop being like, guys, you're gonna get a bunch of free castings. It's really good, okay? You're not seeing why it's really good. Relentless Hunter, protecting your concentration from being broken, and Precise Hunter giving you advantage on marked targets. The level 20 Ranger is now Master of Combatant. You can only Hunter's Mark 1 creature. This is just bad sneak attack. That's what everybody's been calling it since the dawn of time. This is lame. This unfortunately just is doo-doo. And I feel like they've just stripped a lot of the identity of the Ranger. They transformed it into something else, half of which is just Tasha's Cauldron of Everything abilities that they've put on higher levels and depowered slightly because now it's on your wisdom modifier instead of your proficiency modifier. But Ranger gets things like Goodberry and Speak with Animals. It's cool. Everybody can cast spells now. We're all just wizards. Like, I really wanted to see something like Rogue, where they have added new abilities. They've taken things that already exist and they've expanded off them to give Rangers more options for what they can do. And instead, they have just neutered the class. At the very least, at the end of the Paladin stuff, I was like, I know that you can use the stuff from the old books still with this. There's still a lot here from the old books that you can just plug in because, yeah, they've changed Smite and they've made it so you can cast Find Steed whatever. But this feels like they've torn apart the Ranger. It reminds me of Magus in Pathfinder 2e. You're casting an ability that's going to give you a little bit more damage, and then you're kind of attacking, and you're kind of a spell sword. This is very strange. This is a very weird way to take Ranger. And thanks for watching this video, guys. And I really look forward to reading those spells, and I look forward to seeing Bard. Can't wait to look at Bard, because Unearthed Arcana Bard was awesome, and I hope they did cool stuff with it, because I'd like to feel good about these books. I don't want to bum everybody out. All right, have fun out there, everybody. See you later.